Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Kathy Rowe from New Jersey Advocates for Aging Well, and also we manage the Age Friendly NJ website and meetings. And we had an in-person meeting in April on transportation, which had such a great turnout. So many questions, so much interest. We are bringing back some of our speakers, including San Meehan, to talk about his work with the Mature Drivers website. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Sean, to share the screen. We will share the recording with everybody so that you can see it again and also pass on to other colleagues who might be interested. But here we go.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Sean Meehan, and I'm here today to talk with you about the New Jersey Mature Drivers Resource Center and some of the information we offer. This presentation is supported by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety with funding from the United States Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration. So the New Jersey Mature Drivers Resource Center is housed at the Allen M. Voorhees Transportation Center, or VTC, at Rutgers University. Located within the Edward J. Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy, VTC is a national leader in the research and development of innovative transportation policy. Before we get started, I wanted to mention one of our main resources, the Mature Driver Resource Center Train the Trainer presentation. This presentation, which contains a lot of the information I'm going to be going through today, as well as some additional resources, can be used by community members who are in a position to inform and instruct mature drivers about driving safer longer, driving limitations, driving retirement, and transportation alternatives. So the audience for this training includes representatives of municipal departments of aging, departments of health, police departments, libraries, faith-based organizations, and other nonprofit community organizations. The presentation is available for download from the New Jersey Mature Driver Resource Center website, and it provides access to a full PowerPoint presentation with speaker notes that you can modify to better serve the needs of your own community. So why are we here today, and why is this so important? Of New Jersey's over 6 million total licensed drivers, 21% are age 65 or older. Over the past decade, the number of crashes involving mature drivers has remained high, while the proportion of crashes involving mature drivers has increased, raising concerns about the potential impacts of an aging population on roadway safety. According to the 2022 New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety Highway Safety Plan, the proportion of crashes involving mature drivers in New Jersey increased to over 17% as of 2020. Older drivers are often safer drivers. However, when they are involved in a traffic crash, older drivers are more likely to be severely injured or killed in that crash. Older drivers also represent a large proportion of roadway deaths, having accounted for almost 26% of all driver fatalities in the state in 2020. As the number of overall crashes involving mature drivers increases over the years, mature drivers have a substantial impact on the safety of vulnerable road users, including pedestrians and bicyclists. Between 2016 and 2020, about 14% of pedestrian crashes and 14% of bicycle crashes involved mature drivers. From 2015 through 2019, the most common factor for crashes involving mature drivers was distracted driving, with distraction as a factor in over 25% of all crashes involving mature drivers during that time period. The New Jersey Mature Drivers Resource Center offers a website that was designed to provide information and be a guide to resources related to safe driving for mature drivers, guidance for having a conversation when an older driver seeks to limit or stop driving, and mobility options after the individual has stopped driving. We also have a dedicated email address and phone number for people to reach out to us with questions. Most of the questions we've received through the help desk lines so far have been from doctors, caregivers, and the children of mature drivers who are concerned about their parents' welfare. So now we're going to kind of look through the website and some of the resources offered. So if you go to our website, which I guess I should tell you the website address, so it's maturedriversnj.org. That'll come up later, but I might as well get that out of the way right now. So on the website, the first tab you'll notice is the Driving Safer Longer tab. So under the Driver Safing Longer section of the website, we offer information and resources related to changes that come with aging, information on driving assessment, driver training courses, information on the CarFit program, information on vehicle technology, and information on driving rehabilitation specialists. So we can't say that someone should stop driving because they reach a particular age, 70, 80, or even 90. People age at different rates. The ability to drive safely is based on both physical ability and mental acuity. So we cover the specific changes that could impact an older adult's ability to drive safely as part of this section. Changes in vision, hearing, cognitive skills, and physical condition, such as flexibility and response times, can require changes to maintain safe driving or require driving retirement. However, being aware of those changes, assessing their impact, and participating in driver training may help older drivers continue to drive safely longer. Several sources of guidance are available for information on driving and dementia and Alzheimer's. The Hartford at the Crossroads Guide is one resource, and information is available from the National Institute on Aging and the Alzheimer's Association. The resources are also available on Mature Drivers Resource Center website. So everything in blue on the screen is a link that's available both on the website and is also linked in the downloadable Mature Drivers training presentation. So other resources on changes with aging and mature drivers could be found through these two websites, the Merck Manual and the Clearinghouse for Older Road User Safety, or Chorus. They have a range of information on topics. It's great information. So the Merck Manual for the older driver is part of a series of free manuals provided with the goal of making accurate medical information accessible and usable. Two versions are available, one for medical professionals and one for consumers. So Chorus serves as a one-stop shop for materials and resources related to lifelong, safe, independent mobility. Materials and information are available for varied audiences, including older drivers and family members and caregivers of older drivers. We also cover driving assessment. So driving assessment can be made through the use of an online assessment tool or through an in-person assessment. There are several online self-assessments available through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Health and Aging, Automobile Association of America, or AAA, and AARP. AAA also offers in-person driving skills evaluations. An assessment can also be made by a certified driving rehabilitation specialist. These specialists can be helpful, particularly for individuals with a disability, when it's clear that some modifications to a vehicle will be needed. Additionally, some occupational therapists have training in driving assessment. A driving refresher course can be helpful, and both online and in-person courses are available. Many courses are geared specifically to older drivers. So AAA and AARP offer courses, and the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission provides a list of companies with training tailored to mature drivers. So we recommend that when you're giving this presentation yourself, if you use our downloadable materials, that you make sure to note that costs are associated with these courses. We also point people toward information on CarFit and who to contact. So CarFit is a great program. It's a community-based educational program developed by AAA, AARP, and the American Occupational Therapy Association, to promote continued safe driving and mobility among older drivers by focusing attention on car safety, comfort, and fit. So at CarFit events, trained volunteers review a 12-point checklist with driving participants to assess how well the driver fits in their vehicle and to explain vehicle safety features. In these 20-minute sessions, technicians often recommend minor alterations of the car seat, steering wheel, and mirrors for a better and safer fit. So CarFit classes are offered through AAA and other organizations throughout New Jersey at no cost. Some events are listed on the CarFit webpage, but not all events. You can contact AAA to request a CarFit class in your community. The American Occupational Therapy Association CarFit webpage has more information about the process. So again, all these links are on the website and in the downloadable presentation. If drivers are operating a newer car with any of the technology listed here, they should be familiar with how these tools work to help them drive safely. So, to help familiarize people with this information, we point toward AAA resources and short videos on these technologies to inform drivers how they work and how they can benefit their safety. Drivers with special medical considerations and disabilities may benefit from a consultation with a certified driver rehabilitation specialist. These specialists provide numerous services, including evaluation of a driver's capabilities in physical and cognitive terms, vehicle outfitting with adaptive equipment and training to use the equipment, and rehabilitation services for individuals with an illness or an injury that has impaired their driving. Costs vary depending on the provider, type of driver rehabilitation program, and the length of time required to complete the evaluation. Some providers accept medical insurance, while others charge a fee for service. It's important for individuals to ask about costs, billing, and financial support when they're contacting a driver rehabilitation specialist. So, the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission maintains a list of rehab centers that provide this service to New Jersey residents. So, that link is on our website and also in the presentation. The Association for Driver Rehabilitation Specialists provides a list of specialists by state. This is also a great resource. The American Occupational Therapist Association provides a listing of occupational therapists certified in driving assessment by area. So these are some great resources for finding these specialists. Okay, our next topic is transportation options. So familiarity with the transportation services in the area can help to ease concerns about driving retirement. So in this section, we discuss New Jersey Transit Services offering bus and train and light rail service throughout the state and connections with other transportation providers at major locations across the system, including Amtrak, PATH to New York City, and SEPTA to Philadelphia. So for those 62 years of age and older, half-price fares are available with proof of age. The Metro North line is the only line that requires passengers to be 65 to be eligible for half-price fares. Proof of age is any ID or document issued by a government, social service, or mass transportation agency, and they highlight information on accessibility as well. So all buses are accessible with bus lifts or ramps, and all buses have securement systems for mobility devices. We also make sure that people know that the lift can be used by anyone. You don't have to be using a mobility device. So if it would be easier to use the lift to get onto the bus, even if you're not using a wheelchair, they will accommodate you. So we link to details on the accessibility available on the New Jersey Transit website. We also cover Access Link, so letting people know that Access Link is for people with disabilities who are unable to use the local fixed route bus for some or all of their rides, and that there's an eligibility process. So we let people know that Access Link will provide transportation service when the origin and destination are within 3/4 of a mile of a New Jersey Transit local fixed bus route, but that it does not serve as regional transportation into New York City, for instance. It operates as curb-to-curb service and requires reservations. So there's links for more information and contact information available on the website and through the presentation. So we're also sure to provide information on the New Jersey Travel Independence Program at Rutgers. So this is one of my sister programs here at the Voorhees Transportation Center. So this is an excellent program, and it teaches individuals with disabilities and older adults how to use public transportation safely and independently. NJ Tip customers learn how to read bus and train schedules, plan their trips, pay their fares, and take safety precautions. The only cost to customers during training is paying their own fares. So for more information, we have information on the screen, and there's also links on the website to NJ Tip and their website as well. So benefits of working with NJTIP include increased access, empowerment and independence, more options, chauffeur retirement, meaning less reliance on friends and family for rides, and cost savings. So this is a great program, even if, seniors have been living in their community for a long time and just have never really used transit before. It's a great way to kind of get them started and ease any concerns or fears they might have about using transit. So community transportation providers use smaller lift-equipped vans and minibuses and may operate curb to curb, door to door, or on an advanced reservation basis. So every county provides these services that may feed into existing mass transit bus stops, train, or light rail stations. So on the website, we provide links to each county webpage. So, if you were doing this presentation yourself, this is something you might want to modify to make it more specific to your community or the people you're speaking with. So taxis and ride-hailing companies are known as mobility on-demand services. So transportation network companies such as Lyft and Uber pair passengers with drivers via websites and mobile apps. The drivers provide the transportation in the driver's non-commercial vehicle. So, if someone is not comfortable with phone apps, concierge services such as GoGo Grandparent and Easy Ride for Life can be a great resource to help older adults link to Lyft and Uber. People do not have to have familiarity with technology or a smartphone. So, GoGo Grandparent and Ride for Life are available throughout New Jersey. There is an annual membership fee and an administrative fee, and rides are prepaid. So it kind of takes the phone app aspect out of using Uber or Lyft, and there's people to help you get these rides sorted. So we also provide information on New Jersey's 8 regional transportation management associations, or TMAs. So these organizations are nonprofit public-private partnerships that provide transportation information and services to facilitate the movement of people within their service regions. So wherever you live or work in New Jersey, you're covered by a TMA. So many of the TMAs provide targeted services to older adults, including drivers, passengers, commuters, transit riders, bicyclists, and pedestrians. So TMAs can help residents navigate through a range of mobility options, including services provided by municipalities, counties, local nonprofit providers, private bus carriers, and New Jersey Transit. Some TMAs provide classes about transportation, and some have information by municipality. So when visiting the individual TMA websites, which are linked on our website, um, look for sections on community mobility, mobility guides, senior programs, seniors and accessible services, and transportation for seniors. So the website provides direct links to these websites. And if you haven't worked with your Transportation Management Association, they're really great organizations who do just a wide variety of programming. So I would definitely reach out to them and make that connection if you have yet to do so. Okay, so our next section is for family, caregivers, and community. So I've already mentioned the term driving retirement, and this is the term we use for the process of limiting and stopping driving. So we think the analogy to retirement from work seems appropriate. It may be that the older driver can continue driving, but may need to make some of the adjustments we've mentioned earlier, such as driving during less busy times and only during the day, or driving only to locations they're familiar with or on local roads, or driving with someone. So if the decision has been made to limit driving or to stop driving completely, the mature driver will be looking for a plan to maintain independence and self-sufficiency. So the conversation about stopping driving can be very difficult, but preparing for the conversation can help. So how do we know when it's time for someone to reassess driving? So we cover the warning signs. These warning signs and symptoms may give a family member or caregiver an indication that an older driver should consider limiting or stopping driving. So do they seem uncomfortable, fearful, or nervous while driving? Do they have difficulty staying in their travel lane? Have they become lost on familiar roads or in a familiar place? Do they fail to pay attention to road signs, signals, or pavement markings? Do they slow down when faced with an unexpected situation? Have they experienced near misses? Do they have trouble gauging gaps in traffic at intersections or exit ramps, or in merging situations, or changing lanes? Are they easily distracted while driving? Have they received tickets or warnings recently? Have they misjudged a situation? Are there new dents or scrapes on the car, garage, fences, or mailbox? If the decision has been made to start the discussion about driving retirement, we urge people to take time to think about the meaning of driving from the older driver's perspective. How to begin this discussion. So there's a lot of community resources for driving evaluation and remediation available. Strategies for driving reduction or retirement need to be thought about. You also want to talk about navigating the community as a non-driver and the local available transportation options. So we recommend starting this conversation before a crash or other crisis forces the conversation. This approach allows time to develop a plan for mobility after driving retirement. Families are relieved by knowing that there's a plan, and the older driver may also be relieved that there are options and that they're not forced to continue driving. My own grandmother fought driving retirement for a long time, but once it was finally made clear that she really couldn't drive anymore, she definitely was one of those people who seemed relieved. So having the plan in place definitely helps ease that transition and can give everyone some peace of mind. So the conversation can be continued over time, giving the individual opportunity to become used to the idea and to explore these transportation options to make sure which options really make sense and to make sure they can continue to do what they need to do. So the conversation about when to stop driving can be difficult for everyone involved, but it's important to keep talking. So family members or caregivers might be concerned about the older driver's response, appearing disrespectful, the fact that they or other family members may not live nearby to help meet their loved one's needs. They're also worried about isolating the older driver if they live alone, and the older driver not wanting to burden others for rides, and so just giving up on going places. These are all concerns that need to be talked through. So some resources to help think about this process are available. Ones that we like especially are the AARP We Need to Talk online seminar and Florida's Guide to Safe Mobility for Life. So these are some resources for ideas and tips for starting that conversation. So part of the process includes thinking through what are the options for alternative transportation. So options include asking family and friends for rides. We also want to assess how walkable is their community. If the individual has the ability to walk the distance to what is needed, this could be an option. I live in a building with a lot of seniors, and one of my neighbors, Bernice, gave up driving, and it's a pretty walkable community. So Bernice is in great shape. I see her walking the whole town from morning to evening. Bernice is out doing what she has to do, and because we live in that type of community, this really did become an option for her to continue meeting her needs. So New Jersey transit buses are in many communities and frequently have routes to nearby shopping centers or malls, so that could be an option for folks as well. Specialized transportation is available in all counties. Paratransit's available by appointment ahead of time, and they can make routine essential travel, such as to doctor's offices, easier. Other community transportation, such as vans or shuttles, may also be available. So this was a revelation to my own grandmother. She, lived in her town for, 30 years and had been a senior for probably 25 of those years. And she found out about the senior bus to the library and loved using it. And, she could have used it earlier before she even gave up driving. It was available. So making these connections can be a great way to keep people involved in their community. So taxis, Uber, and Lyft can also help provide transportation in New Jersey communities, as long as that's a real option, as long as that's something the senior is comfortable with. And some of the resources we talked about earlier, like Easy Ride for Life and GoGo Grandparent, can help make that easier as well. So the key to successful transition from driving is planning. So you want to talk about not only needed excursions, but also desired trips, and then build on that list to find ways to meet these needs. So these are some of the destinations that people will want to access. So the idea is to reassure the individual that when they give up the keys, they will not be housebound, that there are alternatives to driving and their needs can be met. So Florida Safe Mobility for Life, AAA, and the CDC offer senior mobility transportation planning tools that can be very helpful in this process. And again, those links are available on the website. So the transportation plan will basically answer the questions: where do I want to go? How often do I want to go? How far away is it? what transportation options are available, and what my first choice would be, and what alternatives are available as well if that doesn't work out. And also answer the questions if I can combine trips or use two modes to get there. So, for example, I want to go to the senior center once a week on Tuesday mornings. It's a mile away. Some of my options include I could get a ride from my friend who is still driving, or I could take the municipal van, or I could get a Lyft ride. I know the municipal van will be there waiting to bring me home, so that is a strong option. You want to make sure that all the destinations are listed and all the transportation options are listed. So again, we really only want to include options that are comfortable for the individual or that they will really use. So if we know that they are never going to get into an Uber, that isn't really a valid option. So we have to figure out what they will use and what makes a real option. So ensuring the option is practical. Again, if the bus schedule doesn't work for the individual, it's also not really an option. Once the plan is complete, we should test it out and see if it works for the individual. As part of your work with the community, you can encourage people to create a written transportation plan and take time to go through it as part of your presentation, or give them a printout of the plan from the Mature Driver website. So we have outlines that they can complete on their own. So again, additional helpful resources include the Florida Guide to Safe Mobility for Life and the Senior Transportation Mobility Planner from AAA. These are great ways to get started.
Sean, I see that John has his hand up for a question.
Oh, okay. I can't see anyone when I'm presenting. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
Uh, John, I just wanted to give you a quick update. AAA is no longer affiliated with CarFit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they withdrew it about a year ago,
Oh
year
my.
and a half
Okay.
ago.
Thank you. I'm writing that down. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, several resources are available to provide guidance through the process of driving retirement. Again, we've talked about some of these. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration offers how to understand and influence older drivers. AARP and Hartford Insurance offers the We Need to Talk program. There's a lot of great resources there. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety offers senior driving resources, and the National Institute on Aging offers safe driving for older adults. So again, these are all linked on the Mature Driver Resource Center website and within the presentation itself. So this section, Family, Caregivers, and Community, also contains the Training the Trainer presentation that I've been mentioning this whole time. So this presentation is a downloadable PowerPoint presentation that can be used by community members who are in a position to inform and instruct mature drivers and their friends and families about driving safer longer, driving limitations, driving retirement, and transportation alternatives. So a lot of the things we've already talked about today. So the presentation is all ready to go. It contains speaker notes and is easily adaptable to meet the needs of individual communities and to be used by representatives of a lot of different organizations. So municipal departments of aging, departments of health, police departments, libraries, any community-based organization working with seniors or that has a senior audience. So yeah, so everything we've talked about today is up in this presentation. Again, that is ready to go, and we're really hoping that people can make use of it and adapt it for their own needs and kind of use it throughout the state to help not only seniors themselves, but also concerned family and caregivers learn more about some of the resources available, some of the options for starting these conversations, so it doesn't seem like such a daunting task. Okay, so that was an overview of the website and the materials offered. So this slide highlights the website I've been talking about. So please be sure to visit us at maturedriversnj.org to access all the resources I've been speaking about and also the training presentation. So I also wanted to take the time to thank and acknowledge the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for supporting the New Jersey Mature Drivers Resource Center. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me via our help desk by phone at 848-932-1818 or via email at maturedriversnj@ejb.rutgers.edu. So these are our help desk lines. So these can be distributed to the public. Let them know if they have questions. We're here to answer them. So speaking of questions, that is pretty much what I needed to get through today. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all, and we can go to questions.
Maybe you answered them all. You covered a lot.
So, well, one thing I did want to mention, because people have asked, so part of the reason we put together the Train the Trainer presentation is people have asked me if I would come speak in their community. And unfortunately, we're not funded to do the direct presentations, which is why instead we put together the Train the Trainer so that folks could use it within their own community and also really tailor it to their own community. I think that's important. So, I talked a lot about buses and bus lines. If that's not really an option in your community, that might be something you want to skip. Or if you have a really great municipal van service, that might be something you want to add more information on. So, as the local experts working directly within the community, you know your community best. So, I think it definitely makes for a more powerful presentation. But I respect the fact that we're all very busy people and, you all have a lot to do. So that's kind of why we put this together, hoping it kind of serves as a starting point for you to make any changes you see fit and use this information yourselves. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think also by going through it and looking at your local resources, then people can identify gaps and hopefully make some change and asking for more like, more service, change of hours, maybe altering that set bus route or something that reaches more people. Because, if we don't know what we don't know, and if a town hall doesn't know the number of people who are interested in this or the limitations that they're facing or why, maybe they're not using the local resources because they don't fit their needs. This is a time that we can use this to change those and help it fit their needs so that more people can be served.
Definitely. And I think it's one of the resounding messages is kind of starting this thought process and this conversation early before you need to even really consider driving retirement. Because, like I was saying with my own grandmother, she could have taken the van in her community for years. She finally got on it when she was 90. I'm like, you've been a senior for like 30 years, Graham, but she didn't know about it. So, kind of getting people to think through these resources, making sure that they're available of what's around. Because my grandmother was no fan of driving. She just didn't really know there was another option. And, knowing that made her transition to not driving anymore much easier for her.
I encourage people to go out and use what's there because what again, if the town or county is thinking, oh, this is underused, maybe we don't need it, they might
Take
cancel
it
it. So
away.
go out and use it every now and then.
Definitely.
I
Yeah,
think that is the biggest problem is that seniors don't know about there's so many amazing resources out there. And a lot of times it's online, and we have many seniors in Maplewood who do not have access to the internet.
Yeah. Well, Donna, I'm going to put you and Joanne on the spot. I know that Maplewood got a new electric bus
Yeah,
for the senior
I
center,
haven't
and are
seen
they
it.
advertising it? Are they telling people about it?
Yeah, that it's been out there. I
Good.
have not personally seen the bus, but I understand that if we finally have a lift for those that are disabled, so that's great. But yeah, I know that Michelle Wellesley has put it in their newsletter every month. We didn't have our monthly meeting until I think it's going to be in next week, and I will ask about the bus
Hmm.
and how it's going.
Yeah. And maybe ways to advertise it to, not just the people on a newsletter list, but if it was publicized, then people could refer their neighbors to it or their parents, people who aren't in that, circle of communication.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I did want to hook up with Michelle and sort of get a regular schedule of trips to the library, and then I would be able to, um, publicize it through our website and through our newsletters. So I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, this is wonderful information. And the program you had yesterday, Kathy, was very informative. I'm looking forward to seeing the the presentation.
Great. And I see John has another question.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to mention, I live in Verona, and in Verona, we have a multicultural inclusion and accessibility advisory committee, of which I happen to be a member. And we regularly publicize this kind of information, as well as it's prominently posted in a community center where all the rides and everything is available. And we hold seminars. In my second life, I'm also a community outreach volunteer with AARP. So I make the connection not just with driver safety, but with the accessibility, which is an important function for our seniors. And it's a very active community. And we have actually a booklet called Verona Live, which lists all the resources. And it's printed, it's available to anybody as a copy.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Yeah.
And I know that Verona has just received one of the state age-friendly community grants to build out its
Yes.
age-friendly work. So that's a great
Yes,
connection
that
to
was
have.
part of the accessibility audit, which we formed as a committee.
Great.
That's why we got it.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's excellent, and just making sure people know, this is very personally important to me as well as professionally. I live in a building with a lot of seniors, and I was friendly with two neighbors. They were both on the board with me of the condo association, and they both stopped driving about the same time. One who I mentioned earlier, my friend Bernice, really embraced walking, transit, and she's still doing great. She's getting out, she's seeing people.
Good.
Another woman basically just stayed in her house,
Mm.
and she was recently, her family put her in a nursing home. And, I'm
Um,
sure there might have been other reasons, but just seeing them, they seemed at the same level to me. And again, I'm not a professional, but just that isolation because she didn't reach out, she didn't go anywhere, she stopped talking to people, I think really hastened her decline. And it was
yeah,
difficult to see as a friend. So, I really want to make sure people know, not driving isn't the end. There are other
Right.
ways to get around.
yeah. I have a client now, a husband, well, it's a couple, and the husband has Alzheimer's, and he wants to drive.
Oof.
So the car was taken away, and they live in an assisted living community, which has a van, and he really doesn't need a car. So he told me that if he goes with his wife, she is directing him.
Wow.
So how do we know that he's going to perhaps step on the gas instead of the brake? She's sitting far away from him. I, I don't know. I can't get. I've been trying to get through to the husband that he can't drive. He doesn't need a car. They live at a lovely community that has its own van.
Mm.
They
Mhm.
go shopping. They take them to the museums, the parks. Sometimes it's very well. My dad was a mechanic, sold cars, and collected antique cars for 40 years, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to talk to this guy that lives, eats, and breathes cars? But my father said to me himself, I'm stopping driving. He said, I'm afraid that I could have a heart attack
Mhm.
and your mother and I would be killed
Oh my
because he had congestive heart failure.
Oof. I also recommend it's not, it's a process. It's not
Yes,
just immediately stopping driving. I know with my
right.
own grandmother, she started limiting the places she went. Well, she lived outside of Pittsburgh. She never drove into the city. She hated that. So that was one thing. And then, the hairdresser became a little too far. So my aunt and uncle would take her there. And she kind of ratcheted back till really the only places she was going was the library and the grocery store.
Oh,
So once she got those last two trips planned out and taken care of, it really wasn't a terrible burden.
well, that's good.
God.
But people also, it's not just your cognitive level. You have to have your reflexes
Yes.
tested.
Mhm.
And Kessler, in West Orange, they have a driving program.
Oh,
Yeah, that's great. So
I
we
mean,
have
it's not
links to that.
free.
No,
It's not free. I think it's $150, but they have a makeshift car that you sit in. I mean, it's very thorough, and I think that people should do that.
that's
mm,
probably the most common question I get through our help desk line is about that assessment. So I think there's only 3 or 4 places throughout the state that do offer it. So it's a bit of a challenge if you're not close, but I agree, it's a great program because again, this is a process. There can be changes to the car, changes to the way you sit, different tools added that could allow you to drive safer longer. So it doesn't have to be the end. So I encourage
No,
people to think of it as a
it
process.
doesn't.
Yeah, embrace
You're
some
right.
of these tools, embrace change, maybe limit certain things that are problematic, and you can drive longer.
Yeah, and people need to have their eyes and hearing tested.
Yes.
That's another important, because maybe
mm,
you won't hear someone honking at you. You're drifting into the other lane.
yeah. Donna, you're reminding me, we did, I think it was like 2 years ago, we did an Aging Insights episode with an occupational therapist and talking about that. So I'm going to re-release that and put that in our newsletter. Um, because I think that that had covered a lot of that and it was all presented really well and made a lot of sense. So thanks for that reminder.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I know I used to get your newsletter, but I haven't seen it lately.
It's monthly. I'll go check to make sure you're on it.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I'm on the Maplewood Senior Advisory Committee, and I would be happy to share any resources with the group
Okay, terrific.
and other places that I go to.
Well, we count on all of you to share information, so we will be sending you the link, and I hope that you reach out to Sean and also share this with other colleagues, your local senior center, library, whoever um, would
Yes.
be able to, further the conversations about driving. Sean, thank you for joining us today. Thank you all of
Thank
us
you.
for signing up and for all that you do. I hope to talk to all of you soon.
This was really helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank